Time you've allotted the gentleman from Arizona.
How much time do we have left?
The gentleman has 17 minutes remaining.
As much time as the gentleman may consume.
Gentleman is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Norman. Thank you for raising this issue. This to me, this is an interesting issue because I'm hearing the argument is coming at us and it says, well, you know, there's no due process. Well, debate is a part of due process. That's part of due process, is to have this debate. You get to stand up, you get to defend, and get to raise your issues, and you chose to take it back to committee, which, as Mr. Roy said, that kind of indicates that maybe you know that there's something that's not great about this. So I'm looking at this, and here's at least one of the exchanges that seems to have taken place, and maybe we'll hear some comment about it. That'd be good. You can make some comment about it, but in this exchange, Mr. Epstein sent a text message to the gentlelady from the Virgin Islands, and this is the quote. He brings up Rona, keeper of the secrets. And who's he referring to? Rona Graff. That's a Trump assistant. And Plaskett responds, Rona? ? Quick, I'm up next. Is that an acronym? So she wants to know what Mr. Epstein wants her to talk about. Don't you find that interesting? I find that really intriguing, especially since we know what Mr. Epstein was. And Epstein responds, that's his assistant. Doesn't really say much more than that. And then Plaskett starts questioning Mr. Cohen and asks about Graff. So not only was she texting, having this communication with Mr. Epstein, she's asking Mr. Cohen what Mr. Epstein wants her to ask. Another text says, from Epstein, good work. That's after she wraps it up. All of this seems to be very interesting. And I'm sorry, I don't breathe the rarefied air of the Intelligence Committee. I don't. I'm just a regular guy and a member of the House. That's all. So I don't know about that rarefied air, and I guess I'm part of the sewage. That Mr. Himes said. Yeah. Thanks for agreeing with me, Ms. Plaskett. So she's got us down. Unless you're in the Intelligence Committee, you're crap. That's what the Intel Committee says. But here's the deal. When you're sitting there in a sitting committee and you're having communications with a convicted sex offender, and you're taking their advice on how to ask questions, maybe you got a problem. Maybe your problem is that you've brought disrepute on the House. And this isn't from the articles. This is from the 10,000 pages or so released last week from the Oversight Committee that they received from the Epstein estate. This isn't fishing around. This is coming from real evidence. So I sit here and I listen. Oh, you know, she's the finest member that ever walked the planet, man. That's what you heard. But the bottom line is this. She's sitting there seeking advice and counsel on how to ask questions from Jeffrey Epstein, who this entire body, save one, just condemned. And we want all the evidence. And it's a shame to be here, but for one thing, you made the choice. And so, Mr. Chairman, I'm encouraging everyone in this body to support Mr. Norman's resolution, and I yield back.
Gentleman yields.
Speaker, I reserve.
Gentleman from South Carolina reserves. The members are reminded to direct their commentary to the chair Before I recognize the gentleman from Maryland, please remind yourself, as well as the members, to refrain from engaging in personalities towards the President. Does the gentleman seek recognition?
Yes, I do.
Gentleman is recognized.
Thank you very much. I want to remark that yet one more member says we should go ahead and censure her, and then we should do a complete investigation. I think any fifth grader in America knows that's the exact opposite of what due process means in America. We don't punish people before we have investigation and the opportunity to be heard. I yield 6 minutes now to the distinguished gentlelady from Virgin Islands, Representative Plaskett.
Thank you so much to Mr. Raskin, to my former professor in law school, and I want to address the body. I first want to give you all a sense of what was happening that day. Everyone knows at that hearing in February, the entire country was watching. As Michael Cohen decided he was going to finally give up information about what was happening in the Trump world, the Trump enterprise. And at the beginning of that hearing, the ranking member, Jim Jordan, had the disrespect to Elijah Cummings, may he rest in peace and his name be a memory, after not allowing Mr. Jordan to shut the committee hearing down. And I turned to Mr. Jordan and told him to have respect for the chair and to basically shut up. And that moment went viral. And I began to get innumerable texts from friends, from foes, from constituents about what was happening in that hearing. And I got a text from Jeffrey Epstein, who at the time was my constituent, who was not public knowledge at that time that he was under federal investigation, and who was sharing information with me. Now, I heard recently from someone that I was seeking advice from him. Let me tell you something. I don't need to get advice on how to question anybody from any individual. I have been a lawyer for 30 years. I have been a narcotics prosecutor in New York City. I have had the honor of being a political appointee at the Justice Department after September 11th as a Republican appointee in the Bush administration. I know how to question individuals. I know how to seek information. I have sought information from confidential informants, from murderers, from other individuals, because I want the truth, not because I need them to tell me what to say. And if you look at the transcript, you will see that I questioned Michael Cohen for 5 minutes. The Washington Post only shows you 30 seconds and takes from it one individual's name that I got from Jeffrey Epstein and didn't know who the individual was, and put that individual with a host of other individuals that I felt the committee should subpoena. They've never been subpoenaed. They've never been questioned. Because at the end of the day, I know that in the Trump administration and with my colleagues over there, it's not about sexual assault. It's not about support of victims. It's about money. It is about money. I have consistently stood against sexual violence and the exploitation of women and children in previous careers as well as here in this body. We all know that Jeffrey Epstein's actions were absolutely reprehensible. As a constituent, as an individual who gave donations to me, when I learned of the extent of his actions after his investigation, I gave that money to women's organizations in my community. Not back to him, but to women in the community who needed that support. That's what I think should have been done, and that's what I did. They've taken a text exchange which shows no participation, no assistance, no involvement in any illegal activity, and weaponized it for political theater, because that's what this is. This has been reviewed by federal courts, any charges. Victims who initially had a case against me dismissed it on their own without prejudice. You don't want to talk about what is really happening here. Your attacks on working families, your protection of powerful predators and corporate criminals. You want to talk about texting felons. How often do you text President Donald J. Trump? That's the individual we should be concerned about. And let me tell you this. I am not going to support the wealthy and connected who continue to exploit workers and evade taxes, powerful figures with credible allegations who face no consequences, and corporate interests profiting from human suffering while families struggle. And let me tell the people of the Virgin Islands.
Gentleman will state his point of order.
The point of order is you may not call the President of the United States a felon. That is a violation.
Point of order is under consideration, and we're not going to lose order here either, so please.
May I continue? May I continue, Mr.
Members
Speaker?
are, however, reminded to refrain, as mentioned a little while ago, from making personality commentary towards the President. The point of order is not timely, so the gentlelady is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. What is happening here? I feel sorry for my colleagues. I feel sorry for this body. I see members coming and speaking against me who I've never even had a conversation with. You don't know me. You don't know the work that I've done. You don't know the support that I've given to families, to individuals, to support people. I worked a full-time job with children under the age of 5, going to school, law school at night. Do you think I would risk my law degree for any individual? Never mind a reprehensible individual by Jeffrey Epstein, I would not. But what I'm about is the truth. And let me tell the people of the Virgin Islands, this attempt at intimidation will pass. We in the Virgin Islands do not back down from a fight. That is how we won our freedom, and that is how we will continue to grow our equality. And if you censure me, take away a committee, I will still do the work because I am here to support people and to support this great Constitution, which I have sworn numerous times to uphold.
We reserve, and I thank the lady.
Gentleman reserves. Gentleman from South Carolina is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, before I recognize Mr. Clyde, let me just say, Ms. Plaskett, I don't know you. My overall impression of you has been good. But, and you give these words about protecting families and children. Where was that demonstrated when you took money from a convicted pedophile that had served time? Where was that? The words are beyond believability. And I think you're a nice person, but you missed the boat when you took money. I've got the mic now. You lost your I don't know the word to describe it, but what you did, you deserve to come off the committee. So let me remind you, we want this to go to the Ethics Commission. And to those listening, the Ethics Commission is 5 Democrats and 5 Republicans. Let them find it. But in the meantime, you do not deserve to serve on a committee with national clearance. And I would like now.
Will be reminded again to direct their commentary to the chair.
Mr. Speaker, I would like to recognize my good friend from Georgia, Mr. Andrew Clyde.
How much time is the gentleman shall I recognize him?
How much time is left?
You have 11 and a half minutes remaining.
5 minutes.